Hello, this is Batcave Comics 83. Welcome to my first comic book pickup video. This video is going to be relatively short. It's only 3 comics, so there'll be a Bronze Age, a Silver Age, and a Golden Age. So I'll get started. The first comic is the one you see before you, which is Batman 241, and it's an early Bronze Age comic, and it's a Neal Adams cover. It's a classic looking cover. I think it's probably definitely in the top 20 or 30 Batman covers. I'm not quite sure what it would grade as. I mean, I bought it as a grade 8. It might be even higher than that. It's very nice. So it's one of the covers I've been looking for a long time. So I'm glad of finding this one. So yeah. I will be powering through these first 2 covers because I've got a lot to say about the third cover. So, on to the second cover, or second comic. This is Daredevil number 16 from 1966. It's a John Romita cover. I'd actually been interested in buying this cover for a while, and somebody was auctioning it on eBay, and I got it quite cheap. I think I probably got it for like a third of its actual value. Grade wise, grade wise, I think this Silver Age comic is probably a grade 7. I mean, it's got little bits of damage down the spine, and it's got a 10 and I think a 0 or a 9 written on the front cover, but it's a very nice cover, and the colours pop. So actually, I would have said if it wasn't for that, it might have graded slightly higher. And it hasn't faded. I think that's the original colour, or what the original colour that the cover was designed to be. Because a lot of the covers, you're never sure is that just a faded cover, or is that what it's meant to be? But this is actually a pretty bright, nice looking cover, and it's definitely one of the covers I've been looking for. And it's my first. Silver Age Daredevil. I've got some 90s Daredevil, but this is the first Silver Age one I bought. May well be one of the last, but I'm not quite sure because at the moment I haven't really devoted a huge amount of time to Daredevil, but I might do. This final comic is the one which I'm really most excited to show you. This is Adventure Comics, or New Adventure Comics number 31. As you can see, it has a cover date of October 1938. Now, this is a cover I've been looking for ages. I've actually been staring at it on eBay for about 6 months and no one bought it, so I was like, I'm going to buy it. Anyway, it's pretty rare. I mean, very rare. So I've actually got some pre-prepared information to give you, and it's also a bit about the comic and also what was going on in the world at the time. So, if I go a bit robotic, it's because I'm reading. Right, okay. So this is New Adventure Comics 31. It's got a Gerber scarcity rating of 7 out of 10. 10 being the most rare, 1 being the least rare. A scarcity rating of 7 means that worldwide there are between 21 and 50 graded comics in existence. The Gerber estimate of 21 to 50 is actually an average. It actually shares the same scarcity rating as Action Comics number 1, only it's far less sought after and 2,000 times cheaper. And I don't think I'll ever be buying an Action Comics number 1, as I'm sure most people watching won't be buying an Action Comics number 1. To put this scarcity rating into perspective, think about Amazing Fantasy 15. Amazing Fantasy 15 was released in the Silver Age, and it has a Gerber scarcity rating of 3 to 4 on the Gerber scale. And there's actually been over 2,500 copies submitted for CGC grading since 2002. Yet the price is really high. The price of Amazing Fantasy the price of Amazing Fantasy is driven by the awesomeness of Spider-Man, which makes it a highly sought after comic. These these pre-war books like adventure comics and action comics, they're far rarer because they were pulped during the war and in the lead up to the war because there were paper shortages. And in terms of rarity, I had a look on heritage auctions and they've only sold 9 copies of this comic since the beginning of CGC grading. I actually bought my copy on eBay UK and I was very lucky to get this cheap. Perhaps the lack of superheroes was on my side. I would love to actually get an adventure comics where they do feature a superhero, but the price literally goes up 20 times at that point. And here's a bit about the art. The cover is by Craig Flessel or Flessel, and well, he may not even pronounce Craig. I've never actually heard him speak pronounced because there are very few videos of him, and he died about 7 or 8 years ago. And I think if he was alive today, he'd be about 100. So the cover's by Craig Flessel, probably pronounced Krieg Flessel, and Bob Kane, Fred Gardner, and Joe Shuster added the interior art. Leo O'Melia and Jim Chambers also did stories and art for the book. It's the last issue of the New Adventure Comics title before the title changed to Adventure Comics with issue 32. In total, New Adventure Comics ran from issue 12 in January 1937 to issue 31 in October 1938. And to me, it was one of the greatest eras in the history of DC. Only a little bit more robotic here. It's got a little bit about history because I think when you see comics, you can kind of forget the true age of these comics. This comic is 78 years old. Now, you may think, what was happening in the world 78 years ago? Well, in October 1938, a lot was happening in the world. At the time that New Adventure Comics 31 was published, Hitler had just completed the annexation of Czechoslovakia, and he was simultaneously planning ghettos for all of the major cities in Europe, while on the other side of the world, Japanese troops had occupied Canton, Hankou and Wuhan. The world was heading towards total war. See, I like a little bit of drama there, but and we all know how that panned out. In lighter news, the US passed landmark laws in October 1938 forbidding the use of child labour in US factories. So there's a little fact for your pub quiz. And the New York Yankees beat the Chicago Cubs in the 1938 World Series. So there was quite a lot going on back then. My final remark, a little bit philosophical, but New Adventure Comics 31 is a remnant of a world teetering on disaster. So for this comic to survive 78 years is quite impressive. Right, this was my first comic pickup video. It was, as my inaugural comic video, it was a special video because I won't be buying a comic like this every time. So anyway, I hope you like my video. Keep watching, and just a shout out to everybody who is in the comic book community because I'm really enjoying watching everybody's videos. There's quite a variety, and have a good one.